Hi, Gaye DeRusso with the Majestic rider on Rocky Mountain Horse Flyboy. This is the one that was pacey. Look how nice his walk is out here now. So I want to give him a break from the arena because he seemed a little bit tired. So I'm going to take him on a trail ride, and this is his first trail ride here. He has been trail ridden by the owner and I think was pretty good most of the time. So we'll see how it goes, because again, this is different. This is farmland, and some of them have not seen the tarps and things like that. So he's looking at that, but he didn't do anything. Oh, there's a big hole under there. So I want to walk out a little bit, leaving the barn, just to make sure we have some energy by the time we hit that turn, but not so much energy. He starts acting up, or I'm bringing up his adrenaline. But remember, always leave the barn forward and try to come back slow. His headset, I just want straight. He's going to try and look around. That's just normal. Because remember, that's how they see, turn their head side to side. But I want him to be confident that I'm the leader. There's no reason for you to look around. So I'm going to keep his head straight, and by doing that, if he's going faster, I might pull my hand back towards my hip, which is a direct rein, or if he's keeping good speed and I don't want him to slow down at all, I might just open it up to the side and keep my hands wide. Okay, so use different reins for different things. Once you know the difference, then you have options like what would be the best thing to help him. So this is the turn where there's tarps and things coming up. Good boy. Now they're on my left, which you see in all the videos. So you want to prepare knowing that those could swing at any point. So you're going to keep your left rein open, your right rein and leg against him, because the scary thing is on my left. So you're trying to block the horse from going to the right, because that's the way they're going to go if that tarp starts swinging. And you want to be sitting back in case they do more than that, more than jumping. Now he's going to the bathroom, but remember, I'm not letting him stop anymore. Okay? Because it's going to interfere with our gait, and I know he can walk and go to the bathroom just fine. So you want to breathe, keep yourself relaxed, because he's looking at the tarps. That's why he's turning his head. So you're just trying to stay relaxed but sitting back. Go boy. And remember, every horse has a bubble around it. So some horses that might be 100 feet, some horses it's 20 feet, some it's 5. So knowing, go boy. Now he just stopped, he's just looking, but he's being good, and I can feel his heart racing a little bit. Go boy. No. So I gave him the option to look, and then he's like, how about we go the other way? And I just said, nope, we're going forward. Go boy. Okay. So now I can use this hill, not saddle gait. We want a flat walk. So I want to keep his head low, but not bunched up. Keep his back relaxed, but get him to engage his back end. See his head shaking up and down? That's how you know you're doing a flat walk. And I can feel him driving and pushing me up the hill. That's how I'm going to strengthen his hindquarters. So don't just let them throw their head up and step pace up the hill. Get them to engage that back end. You'll feel it really digging in and pushing you guys up the hill. And when you do it right, it's super fun. You can just feel all the power. It's like being in a sport car, and you rev the engine, then you go from park into gear, and you hit that gas and you feel it rock back and lurch forward. That's fun. Some of us like speedy cars. All right, so as I'm going, I want him to either flat walk. If I gotta go fast, I'm gonna saddle gait, but I'm not gonna let him do it incorrectly anymore. So he's good climbing. Most Rockies are, but you never know, so don't pay any attention and are trippy. But he's not that lazy kind of Rocky Mountain. He's athletic. You can see if they're athletic when they're running loose. Okay? So he's doing good. You can tell he's been on the trail before. So, but I'm guiding him. I'm not leaving him any options because he's young. Okay, so I have more experience than he does, so I'm not going to rely on him. I want him to rely on me. Okay, at this age you got to help him. So all I'm doing, it's not much, is just keeping him straight, not letting him look around, and making him stay in his flat walk by just alternating my legs and pushing my seat kind of forward and back, but I'm not squeezing my butt cheeks or anything on him. This is narrow, so I'm going to let him put his head down if he needs to, but he's fitting in here just fine. Oh, what a lovely gait. Okay, so you're helping, and then I'm just guiding. You might think it's micromanaging, but it's not. I'm not, you know, on his case the whole time. I'm just kind of helping him like I'm his mom. Like, this is what you do when we go here, okay? So again, the point he's here is for training, to get stronger, to get his gaits, get conditioned. So every hill, like even this little hill, I'm going to make him keep his head down and drive himself up it with his hind quarter, so he gets used to engaging himself in pushing instead of pulling. A lot of gaited horses will just pull with their front end. If you want to build up their back end, strengthen around their stifles so they're not having issues, you want to teach them how to push instead of pull. Now, they can do both if you ever need them to. He's looking at the feather thing. You watch my videos, you'll know most horses get a little nervous with this. Nope. So I'll let him look. I'll let him turn his head, but I'm not going to let him turn and spin around, okay? Now, I can let them turn pretty far because some horses have to turn their head and turn their body so they can see it out of the back of their eye better. And those horses aren't going to spin, but this is his first time, so I can't let him do that. So I'm just letting him assess the situation. I'm breathing and relaxing. You're okay, buddy. Good job. Now, he's deciding to go, but I'm going to sit back because if that feather thing catches air, I know he might jump forward or kick out at it to get it away from him. And so you got to be ready for it. And since he's brave, I didn't have to get after him or anything to make him go by or really help him. I just had to allow him to look. So the first couple times on trail, I'm going to help them, let them look. I don't know him. He doesn't know me that well yet. And so I want to build his trust that if you're scared, I'm going to help you, not beat you. And then over time, if he was very spooky, you wouldn't go, yes, I would push him. So it depends on your horse and what they're like, but he's pretty brave. Okay, I forgot what I was talking about before, but whatever. Okay, so we want him to drive with his back end so he can get stronger. A lot of gaited horses have stifle problems because of the way they're made. They're loose and they're made to swing underneath themselves more. He's going to the bathroom, so you'll see he's still walking, but I did let him slow down because we're not gaiting at the moment. Anytime something's weird, you sit back and be ready for it. Don't wait for something to happen and then try to get ready, because then it'll be too late. Okay? But his flat walk is very good out here. We're going to go downhill in a minute, so I'm not going very fast. But he's not bunched up like he used to be. He's relaxed and swinging his legs more. Now this is going downhill and we got to step over something. We know he can be trippy, so you sit back. But see, with him, he's looking, that's okay. But he's pretty well balanced, so some horses like the heavy four-handed walking, I got to help them a lot up here. I got to half halt like every step. That's just how they are and what they're, you know, how they're made. Those are the big, really lanky ones. You got to help them more. Okay, and if you know that, no big deal. You get used to doing it and then it becomes second nature. You don't even know you're doing it anymore. But ones that are more balanced and he has a shorter step, he's rocking himself back on his hind quarter, so I don't have to help him much with that. Now, he just sped up, so I just gave a half halt. Good boy, good job. But you'll see, he is kind of looking around, not bad. But overall, I think he's doing really well. Now, I have other hills coming up, so I'll decide when we get there if I want to try a canter maybe, or if I want to gate him, we'll see. But I'm not galloping or going super fast. That's going to make him hot. The owner doesn't need a hot horse, okay? So I just want him to go forward, and you got to check with that with your trainers, because some are galloping them out there and others aren't, or if your friend's helping you. And we don't want to just walk either. We want a flat walking gait because we're trying to build him up. So there he's getting a little tense, so I just pushed him off the trail with the leg yield. Now he's relaxed more, so now I'm going to let him start moving out more. See what a nice little flat walk. Now we'll see what he does on this hill, kind of just guiding him. Good boy. Now he's getting a little bit step pacey, so I'm bringing him back to his flat walk. Because what that tells me is he's probably been step pacing up the hill. Sure, it's smooth, but that's not what we want. Remember, the step pace isn't as good for their body, so if we can avoid it, we're going to avoid it. Now, a lot of you are step pacing out there up the hills because you don't know the difference and you just feel that it's smooth. But you'll usually kind of feel them bunch up. It might be completely smooth, or you might get a little soft bounce in the saddle. Okay? But if you know what the saddle gait feels like, you feel kind of their feet moving underneath you more. Good boy. So I do have a stick. I'm not having to put much leg on him. He's just going. But we know he's a little Energizer bunny. So occasionally I push if he's looking or slows down and changes his speed. Otherwise, my job is to teach him to be able to flat walk out here, stay in that gait unless I ask for change, and to get stronger and to be, you know, a solid little trail horse. Now there he starts step pacing. So what am I doing? I'm doing my shoulder in and I slowed down. So I'm going to do the same stuff I do in the arena. I'm going to, if he gets step pacey, I'm going to move his shoulders or his hind quarter or his whole body, and then I'm going to release and see if he can do it. Okay? Because if I hold him, it doesn't help him. In other words, if I'm holding him and trying to make him do that gait, he just gets bunched up and gets worse. So some of your horses will be like that. You got to play around and see what works for my horse. Do I have to hold them together, or can I release them, get him to relax in his gait? Because in the end, when you're doing this naturally, we just want them to relax. So now the camera might look like it's moving more because we're going downhill and he's really swinging, but he's doing the correct gait. So you got to be able to feel it to know if they're doing the right thing. I got to be able to feel if he was pacing down this hill or if he's getting trotty or what he's doing. Still doing good. Now up here it's probably going to get mushy, and we have a big sand pile on the left. So it's kind of like a blind turn, or you know, you can't see the top once you come over it. Now there's mud. Tell me you haven't been through mud. You're okay. So all I'm going to do is hold him in front of it and let him look and figure it out. He's from Colorado, so he should have been through mud. But again, I don't know. So sit back. You kind of sit back and go forward, because if they leap, you're trying to go with them. Okay. So we're still in mud. Now I'm keeping him slow. He wants to speed up, and I'm not going to let him, because I know if he speeds up, he's going to do that step pace. Good boy. And that's the hard part. When you don't know the feel, you let them do that stuff. They don't know it's not right. You don't know it's not right. And then you got to step pace and heel. Step pacing horse. And don't feel bad. If you're a beginner and you have no clue, that's why you're here to learn. So it's okay. Going to help you get better. So hopefully you can feel the gaits. Okay. Now, there he got a little step pacey again. When I pushed him over, he went up in speed, so all I did was half halt. So if they're having problems going downhill, I'll serpentine, or if they're trying to pace downhill, I'll serpentine like this. But you teach it in the arena first, so that way you got them to bend, because the serpentine is not just going back and forth. You got to get them to bend around it. That's how their legs get separated. So you got to teach them to round their body around your leg. That's not natural for a horse. They have no idea. They were not born for us to ride them. We made them into things we could ride. So we have to teach them how to balance us the best, how to do the best gait, and what we need them to do. And then we'll take very good care of them. That's all they want, is peace and food and housing, and they're very willing to work for it, which many people aren't. Right? So anytime I feel him bunch up, I half push him sideways. I make sure I'm relaxed, like my butt's relaxed, because if your butt's tense, you're going to make that horse tense up more. And then once he's good, I just release and then see what he does. And if it doesn't work, I just repeat it again. I push him sideways, don't let him go faster, and then try to release and push my hands forward so he can reach out. I'm not going to ride this horse on a loose rein because he's going to change his gait. He's going to look all over, and that'll give him more options to be bad. He's not old enough to do that yet. Okay? In time he will be, or if I was on a 5, and now he's step pacing, 5-hour ride he might be, so I slowed it down. He's got to learn a different way of going. So all he's doing is what he knows, and that's okay. But I just told him, hey, I got a new way to do things. It's better for you. You'll be stronger, you'll be healthier, you're going to get around things better, and it's a good idea. So let me just teach you how to do this kind of dance instead of the dance you were doing. Because it is kind of like a dance with the footfall and all of that. But you'll see, he's very brave. He came out here like no big deal for me. So the owner's done a good job taking him out by himself and getting him used to that. And he's just 6, and I believe she bought him at 4. So when we own horses, especially when we're learning or they're new or gaited horses, we're going to do some good things and we're going to do some bad things to them. That's just normal. It's just like having a kid. You might be like, well, that wasn't a good thing that I did with the kid. Next one I'll do better. So it's the same with your horse. You got to learn. Then you figure out what works and doesn't work. So we got that car coming up with the tarp that's in the window, and that can scare them. So what did I do? I prepared. I just shortened up my reins, got my hands wide, and then I'm just going to see if he stops and wants to look at it, or he just goes by, or he gets scared, and what he does. So you try and stay relaxed and breathe like this. I'm not looking at the car. I'm looking where we're going. Like, it's no big deal. And so he just went. Now we got these big black water tanks he just kind of looked at. So again, first time up here, I'm just going to let him take a look. But my reins are short and I'm ready in case he tries to turn around and go home. No, see? Now, he might again have been trying to look from the back of his eye, but since this is his first time out, I'm not going to let him turn all the way around to look. But some horses, if they are scared and you turn them around, you know, you got to be careful if you're facing home. But once they see it out of the back of their eye, they see it differently and they go, oh, I'm okay with that. Thanks for letting me look. So I'll do lots of stuff in the beginning, but then I expect them that they can't be looking the whole time. So it's not a forever thing unless it's something really out of the ordinary. So he probably hasn't seen this. There's lots of logs cut down up here. There's bee boxes over there. But there were a whole bunch of them. I don't know where they went. Okay. So now, and I'm paying more attention, not showing you what I'm seeing, I want to work on straightness. So I have this big fire trail, and a lot of you just let your horse wander down the trail or follow the horse in front of it. No, teach it to go straight, just like when I was walking down the quarter line of the arena. Keep that horse going straight. You'll see he's going crooked here and there because he's looking at the wood. That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm keeping him right in between my hands and my legs. Like he's a ball, and I'm driving that ball forward, but keeping it straight. So if you really pay attention and try to keep your horse straight, you're not just sitting there. You're going to be pushing a little with your left leg, then a little with your right leg. You're going to alternate those legs to keep that horse straight, because that's what you would do if you had a ball between your legs. You wouldn't be able to just kick it and have it go straight the entire time. So you're going to push it back and forth. Now those horses might be up here, they might not, we'll see. I want to go down this hill for a couple reasons. I want to see how he does on the rocks, and then I also want him to have another hill to walk up. So you see, I'm helping him and I'm telling him what to do, but I'm not yanking or doing anything harsh because he's being good. If he was a spook or something, I might have to. I might be like, hey, you need to pay attention to me because you're scared out of your wits and I got to get you through this. But he's like, I'm just unsure. And I'm like, you're okay, buddy. And that's what I'm doing with my hands and my legs, is going, you're okay. We got this. Now, if your horse gets to gravel and it immediately starts tripping or going off the trail, the horse is telling you its feet are sore. I say that a lot because I've had a lot of people send horses and they're tripping, and then I ride it and it's just on the rocks and I go, you know your horse is sore, it needs boots or shoes. And they have no clue. So horses do the same you do when you walk on gravel. Ow, 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 ow. Now, not every horse, if they have tough feet, they're fine. Or if they have shoes, they might be fine. But if they have shoes or not, and they're getting ouchy on the gravel or tripping or they don't want to go, their feet are sore. So if they have shoes, they might need to wear pads because they might have very sensitive soles. And if, okay, we're going to stop here and give them a little cookie. If they don't have shoes on, well then you know they need boots. But if they're doing it in boots, then those boots, he's like, oh my God, I get a cookie? She never gives me that many cookies. He's like, only with that alligator. But then you know they need either a different kind of boot, something more firm, or remember you can put pads in the boots. So very good. At least by himself. Now he could be totally different if she hasn't ridden with other horses. Good boy. Now we turned around. That's the time they usually get faster. So we want to keep him slow, but this is a good time if they are getting faster. If they're step pacing or going, yep, he's trying to step pace. You start doing your serpentine. I'm like, no, we don't go home any faster than we came. But he's getting bunched up, so I'm staying relaxed and just saying, no, you got to go slow. If he walked out or tried to, you know, saddle gait, that's better, but otherwise we just stay slow, just like I did in the arena. Start slow, get the footfall, and then before you know it, we'll be back up to speed. But allow them to just step pace or pace. You'll always be chasing that gait. You'll never get it because you're not being consistent. So you can't say, oh, you can do it here, oh, you can do it there. No. Well, unless you're doing a 100-mile endurance race, then you do what you got to do. But otherwise, we were trying to teach him correctly how to do this. And I don't want him speeding up when we turn around, so if I can do things to help show him not to, that will help so he doesn't get barn sour. So yes, when we get home, guess what? He's being tied up. Now again, when I posted that one thing about tying horses up, and people get a little bit goofy on the situation that they don't ever want to tie their horse up. Horses have to be tied to be able to function in our world with humans, and if they can't be tied, or you have to always feed them when you tie them, it becomes a very difficult situation. So here in California we have fires, and so if there's a fire and you can't get there and they pull your horse out and they tie it up to the trailer and it has a fit and it can't stand there because it's going to be worse when there's fire coming behind it, guess what? They're not going to deal with it because they might have to save 50 horses and they're not going to spend 1 hour trying to, you know, have your horse stand there while they're grabbing the other horses. They might just set it free. So your horse has to be able to stand. Your horse has to be able to load in a trailer. So if you're one of those people and you got the horse that doesn't load in the trailer, well, stop going on the trail, stay home and fix that. Because again, in an emergency, your horse isn't going to get in the trailer, and they might just have to set your horse free because there might not be anybody to run it down the road, or they might burn up if they do. So they're going to leave your horse. So all those things you've been avoiding, or it's obnoxious, nobody else can handle it but you, guess what? That horse is probably not going to do so well when there's an emergency. So, and if you're not around when it colics or something else, same thing. When a vet has to examine it, or the farrier's got to put the shoe back on and you're not there, it's not going to go well. And there's no reason for people to get hurt because the horse won't tie. Those that are smart and old timers, they'll just put your horse back. They're like, enough's enough. I didn't create this. So he's still trying to step pace, but not as bad. But he gets bunched up every time I go up a hill. Yeah, so I got to teach him to stay relaxed. Okay, I'm going to serpentine a little bit. So remember, there's things you might think are mean, or you think, you know, you can't believe people do these things, but we have to get the horses used to things in our world. We have to desensitize them so they don't get freaked out or throw people off, because they won't have homes if they don't. Okay, but there are good ways and bad ways to do things, and all trainers do things differently. But I highly recommend you tie them up. But when I do it, I am always there. I might hide where I can see them, but they can't see me, but I never leave them there alone. Horses are different in cross ties. They can spin around in that stuff, so that you got to be very careful with. So I make sure they can just tie first, and I will put them in the cross ties, but I am always right there. Now he's getting more step pacey, so I know he's more anxious to get home. So that's why I'm going to serpentine. I might serpentine the whole way home, which makes him bend better. And it's going to help his gait, but that's what I might have to do this whole time. And if you ride loops, that's much easier. Horses don't get as anxious. But when you ride out and turn around and go back the same way, well, guess what? That's when they get anxious. So some horses don't care about going home because people have ridden all over, or they just don't have that attraction for it, but other horses do. Now he's a little fast, so I'm sliding the bit. Now I'm half halting. So I'm not going to let him drag me down this hill, even though he can go fast down it. That's not the point. The point is to build his muscles up and teach him to carry us well. Easy. So always take deep breaths when they're getting anxious. I couldn't really do that because I was talking. This is just his flat walk. Okay. So remember, the things you do with your horse, because I know there's lots of people that, you know, haven't had years of horses, or they truly don't understand what they are or how horses treat each other. Of course, we want to be kind, and they're great, but we do have to teach them how to survive and how not to hurt people. And so you do have to give them rules, just like you do with kids in society, so they can function in it and everybody will like them. But an obnoxious horse, or one that can't tie or trail, or, you know, or it's mouthy and biting people or kicking people, that horse is not going to do well. So you want to do something about it. Now he just pulled me. So I stopped and backed up, and that told him, no, don't do that. Now I'm going to walk off. Now he's getting more amped up right here. So he's telling me, Gaye, you might want to do some more serpentines with me. So I'm just turning left and I'm turning right. No, no, no. Now I'm releasing. So all I did was bend him and hold him when I was saying no. Now it's much easier if he step paces up that hill. That's why I'm not letting him do it. Okay? He needs to just walk and flat walk. Now he's getting crooked. So see, he's doing all these little things that you want to correct. Now he sped up, so I half halt, and then he went to the left, so I pushed him off my left leg. Now if it gets bad and muddy and he's starting to act up, I will just get off. There's no reason to put them off balance and you off balance, especially if they're being bad. You can do lots of stuff from the ground. Here, he might try to speed up. Keep the weight down in your legs. Push on your stirrups. And I'm raising a little out of the saddle, just so he can use his back. It is muddy. Then I'm going to start sitting back down now, and I'm keeping his head a little bit up. This is the mud, because sometimes they get out of that mud, and with the young horses they get overly excited and then they kind of jump forward or do something stupid. So you're just kind of preparing. Now I got to get him to relax again. He's all bunched up. So I'm pushing my arms forward, but I'm not letting go. So I'm trying to get him to relax, but I'll pick those reins immediately up if he starts step pacing or something. Now here his gait's good. It's very smooth. He's not bunched up, and then he just changed right there. So I just pulled on him and said, nope, don't do that. But again, if you let them do that, even 2 steps, they're always going to try. You have to be as consistent as you can in staying in the same gait. Don't just let them change. They don't know what gait you want. You got to teach them. And that's why if you got one from the show ring, let's say a flat shod horse, or, you know, it was naturally showed, they'll stay in gait and gait all day because that's all they worked on. They didn't let them speed up. I'm not talking about the pacey ones, because those ones will pace all day. So remember, if you're buying from the show ring, you want to know if it's pacey or not. And pacey ones are fine, but if it's really a hard pacing one, somebody's got to teach it how to gait well. But it's okay if it paces when it's loose. That's just natural for that horse. So there, he just slipped. Now he's getting a little anxious again. So all I'm doing is half halting because we're on the mud and trying to relax. He's doing good. So again, I have another hill coming up. It's not big, but I want him to just stay like this. I don't want him to step pace. We can go a little faster up it, but it has to be the correct gait. And when they've been allowed not to gait correctly, they're going to keep trying, especially if it's been going on for like 10 or 15 years. They're not going to give it up in 1 or 2 rides. It's going to take a while. So look at that. He didn't step pace. Very good. Good job, buddy. Oh boy. So same thing again. I'm pushing down on my stirrups. When you're going down mud, try not to turn your horse much, okay? Or at least don't turn it all the way around because they'll slip and slide. So you're just trying to stay off their back just a little, 1 inch or 2. Stay stable, kind of upright. Unless it's super steep, then you might have to lean back. And stay the same speed. Do not let them just run down the hill. If they're bad, walk, stop, walk, stop, walk, stop. But only stop for like a second in the beginning or they're going to get amped up. You walk and you stop and you're like, good. And then go immediately again. And you'll see that in some of my videos if you have a problem going down hills. So he's doing good. Now when they're out here, I don't want their head way up. Where it is fine. But if their head comes way up, I know he's either looking at something or his adrenaline's coming up because he's getting nervous. So we're trying to keep him in a neutral body position where his head's kind of just a little bit above my pommel or the front of my saddle. There, he got a little antsy. Here he's good. I'm not pumping my arms. My arms are just moving with my body and my body's moving back and forth. So there he went to the bathroom, didn't even try to slow down, of course, because we're going home. So your horse can poop on the way home, but and keeps walking, but it keeps stopping on the way out. He's telling you, or she is, that they can do it on the way home. So there's no reason to stop going out except that horse is looking for an excuse not to go out. It's like your kid not wanting to go to school, so they're pretending they're sick. Horses do that stuff too. Now he's getting anxious, so and he's starting to step pace, so now I'm gonna weave. Now I might weave right into a bush. I'm like, oh well, go into the bush. So we have to get him out of this habit of step pacing when he gets to hills and getting anxious, because he's doing exactly what he did in the arena. He's getting bunched up, raising himself up. You're okay, buddy. Now I'm sliding the bit because he's looking for something, and I don't know if somebody else is out here. But you're trying to get rid of that anxiousness, okay? Because I can't get the gait if he is anxious. So if that's happening, you got to work on the anxiousness and the gait will come. That just means usually more rides or having somebody help you and ride that horse out there a while for you. But he's doing good. He's not trippy out here. He's just trippy at home because we're going over those poles and he doesn't pay attention. So if your horse is tripping, you try to analyze, because if it's something like that, you're like, oh, I just got to make him pay attention. That's his whole problem. And you can't ride on a loose rein chit-chatting with your friends, because that's what's making him trip. You ride with contact and some engagement, make him pay attention, just like you do with your car. You drive it, right? And you pay attention if you're a good driver, and look for things that are coming, and you prepare. And when you see weirdos on the road, you're like, I think I'll just slow down and get away from that one. And that's what you do on trail. And if you ride in groups and you're like, oh my God, these people are crazy, you're like, hey, can you guys stop for a second? Thanks. And you get off and you go, okay, thank you, adios. You guys go, I'm just gonna walk my horse home. Don't put yourself at risk. Okay, so now we're gonna go downhill. Now he's getting anxious. He was starting to speed up and he was starting to do his little step pace. So we're going to half halt. We want him to stay slow, push down against your stirrups, stay back. He just tried to drag me right there, so I'm leaning back and I slid the bit. You have to have a strong back, stronger than your arms actually. That back is going to help you a fair amount. And if you don't, you want to do things like deadlifts. You want to do like the rowing motion, or if you see those rowing machines, and you can just look up back exercises. But it's pretty much doing an exercise where your arms like this and then it pulls back, and arms like this and then it pulls back. So when your horse starts pulling, I'm trying to make a video on this so you can see me, you want to lean back and then pull, because it gives you so much extra strength. The horse will pull you forward and then they know they got you. They can feel you weak and you can't do it. So you're not big or you're not strong. You want to work out some to help you, and then again, if you still can't, because say you're 80 or something, you just don't have the strength, then you change the bit to help you. There's no reason to get dragged because someone told you you have to ride in a snaffle. I have lots of older people, they do not get run away with, but I assess their condition, how strong they are they going to work out, and then I help them to give them a bit that will help control the horse, but not hurt it or anything, because there's no reason to get run away with. And a lot of people do with snaffles, some do not, but a lot of people do because they don't know what they're doing and they get run away with, and then it not only scares the hell out of the person, but it teaches the horse a bad habit, where if they had a little bit more bit, it would help them get more control. So you see, when he pulls, and when he pulled in the arena, I'm not doing a one rein stop because that's going to spin him. All I'm doing is leaning back and pulling. Now there I'm stopping because he tried to grab the food and then he tried to speed up. I'm like, well, that just made you go slower home. You're not eating. So did you see me? I just slid the bit pretty hard to tell him no, he can't eat. Now he's got to pay attention because we got some step downs here. So I'm going to do what I have to do to make him pay attention to what we're doing. Okay, he goes down the steps well so far. No. He tried to grab the food again. So all I'm doing is yanking on that rein, but you got to be strong enough to get them. Some of these horses are super strong. And it would be much harder even for me with a snaffle. I like snaffles. I don't like them on trail so much because I see people out of control, can't get their horse's head down, and they have all sorts of issues, and then they're just fighting with the horse, and then you switch it to a shank and they're like, wow, I have power brakes. I'm like, yeah, and look, you're not pulling on your horse anymore, because now your horse knows you can stop it, you can stop it, and you feel safer, so you're not hanging on it. So, but I'm, you know, everybody's different, but I'm a big trail rider and we see lots of crazy stuff happen. I know what a lot of you got to deal with. And I know a lot of my clients are older women. We're not as strong as men. They could probably ride in snaffles all day, but if we're not strong, it's much harder. Okay, so we're going to be coming up on the tarps. All I'm doing is serpentine a little bit, and I'm half halting because he is trying to rush down this, and I also don't want him to pace down this. So all those things are helping me keep him out of the pace. Half halt, now I'm turning right to make my serpentine, now I'm sitting back, I'm breathing, relaxing my legs, now I'm turning left, now I'm turning right because the footing is given out there. So it's not going to be perfect. You see, some of the times you might see me bouncing because that's what he's doing. He's step pacing. So every time he tries to look around or loses attention, I'm just bumping him back. And it's just like you're in the classroom as a kid and your teacher comes up and goes, "Hey, Miss DeRusso, you need to pay attention and stop looking out that window." I'm like, yeah, okay. And after they yell at you 3 times, or we used to get hit with the ruler in the hands, we paid attention. So, good boy. So half halt, sitting back. So I'm doing this the whole way down the hill. It's not like I'm just sitting here not doing anything. I am riding. Telling him no, yes, maybe, don't do that, do this, good job. But this is our first time together, and then after time, you know, a while, once they know you, you don't have to do all that anymore. They go, I can't look around, I got to keep my head down, I got to eat well. Otherwise she's on my case. That's a cute one. All right. So now we're back at the barn. What I'm going to do, big huge hay truck coming in. I was going to ride around the barn, but now I'm not gonna. So I'm going to go in the arena, and I won't tape this part, but I'm going to do a little bit of his saddle gait. I'm not going to canter today because yesterday he was pretty tired and, you know, wasn't doing it as well as he did the day before. So I want to give him a day off from cantering, and we didn't do any on trail because he didn't feel calm enough. There, he gave a little trip, but the footing's totally uneven. But so I'm going to give him some work, maybe 5-10 minutes in there, and then I'm going to tie him up. I'll be watching him the whole time, and we'll leave the saddle on for a while, but then I got to put it on another horse. But overall, I think he did really well. I think, you know, as a trail horse, he was great all by himself. We don't see much out there, but it does scare a lot of horses. But he went by the tarps better than I've seen some 15-year-olds go by those tarps. But again, when they're started well and people are trying and exposing and doing things with them, well, guess what? They end up being better horses. But if you take horses, spoil them, don't show them what to do, let them get away with things, and don't teach them how to survive in the world with how we are with humans now, they end up not being such good horses anymore. Okay? Hey, you could either make your horse spectacular or the biggest monster. And so it depends on the horse. You know, if somebody had it before you, they might have put some good rules on it, but you can take all those off. You're not itching your head. Okay, so that's the end. Remember, remember to like and subscribe to keep the videos coming. It all helps me. And there's links, you know, for equipment and stuff in the description. All that gives me a little bit of money, not much, but a little bit to help keep the business running. It's hard to keep horse businesses running.